Good take or deep reach?
What's up? It's time for another edition of Good Take or Deep Reach with Dan Riccio and Randip Janda. And it's been a difficult start to the season for the Canucks. And really, I put it down to a lot of different things. But if I'm going to point out the most disappointing player on the Canucks so far this season, I'm pointing at JT Miller. Good take or deep reach?
That is a deep reach. Listen, JT Miller hasn't had a good season. He hasn't. It's been pretty ugly on a few fronts. Points-wise, though, he is still putting up points. And across the board reach, as far as I'm concerned, like the effort question that JT Miller is being questioned on right now, he's not the only one on that Canucks team. The effort has been questionable for a bunch of guys. So that to me is a deep reach. He's been bad, and he's been one of the worst, but the most reach to me.
I really look at this Canucks team and I see there's a lot of problems with it. But Randip, where you're wrong on this is that this team needs JT Miller, like the same JT Miller of last year. And sure, the points are there. He's got, I think, 18 points in 19 games, so kind of close to the points per game that he was at last year. But you watch this team and you know that this is a very different player from what we saw last year. You know, this is a guy that as soon as he showed up after the trade from the Tampa Bay Lightning, immediate leader in the locker room, immediate leader on the ice, a guy that would drag his teammates into the fight, was smart, played well with their best players. And while they've kind of started to get it going lately a little bit more, it's his defensive game and his puck management. It's like his hockey IQ has just gone out the window. I don't know what happened to this guy over the course of the offseason, but he's forcing pucks that are just impossible to make plays on. The low percentage play every single time, and it's baffling to see how JT Miller, still talented, still has all the tools you want, but is just not playing with the same level of confidence that he did last year, and it's the worst thing that's happened to the Canucks so far this season.
Okay, he made those same high-risk plays last year. The problem is he didn't screw them up as much as he did this year. Last year they worked. This year they did not. So it's a part of his DNA. It's always been a part of his DNA. Most disappointing player for me, I'm giving you a 2-for-1. It's not JT Miller. It's the goalies, Thatcher Demko and Braden Holtby. This is a Canucks team that is flawed. This is a Canucks team that was flawed last year. They have a lot of big turnovers. They play that high-risk game, so they rely on their goalies to be that much better. And the goalies this year have not been good. Thatcher Demko, he's barely got a 900 save percentage. Braden Holtby, it's below 900. And if we want to get deeper into the facts here, Reach, think about this. Goals saved above average is a measurement of basically if you're a league average goalie. Thatcher Demko is minus 5.3 and Braden Holtby is minus 4.2, which is not a good situation. You're in the same discussion as Matt Murray, Marcus Hogberg, Jonathan Quick. Hashtag not good. You don't want to be in that group. So JT Miller is getting a lot of the heat. I look at this team and the goaltending as the biggest disappointment because we all knew they were a flawed team. We all knew that they were going to be shoddy defensively. Their goalies had to bail them out. They haven't been doing that.
Randip, I hope on Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada, Kelly Rudy calls you out for blaming the goalies all the time. Like, it's the easiest thing to do. We know everybody on this Canucks team has just been horrible defensively. And it starts with their top guys because we know the depth on this team isn't going to carry them anywhere far. It's got to come down to the top guys. And that's why I point at JT Miller. We talk about the goalies. I mean, these guys have had basically no chance on a lot of the plays that have ended up in the back of the Canucks net this year. You know, turnovers at the blue line. JT Miller is probably the biggest culprit of that. I look at his giveaways from last year, and they're under 2 per 60. And this year, it's over 4. You know, like this has completely changed for JT Miller in the course of one offseason. And you can blame the goalies all you want. And sure, there's always going to be a few that they'd love to have back. But JT Miller and the rest of the Canucks have been huge culprits of their defensive play, the giveaways leading to odd man rushes going back the other way. There's not much goalies can do about that. And for that, I say JT Miller is the most disappointing player. The goalies, man, you're reaching deep with that one.
No. Dan, we knew who the Vancouver Canucks were. They were a team that plays a high-risk game. The goalies have to be the best players on this team or among the best players on this team to have success. They haven't been doing that.
Yeah, they need Dominic Hasek, I guess, because
Wouldn't hurt.
that's the only thing that could help the defensive woes that they've had for this season. Is it a good take or deep reach? Has JT Miller been the most disappointing Canucks player this year? Comment below, and if you disagree, let us know who you think has been in this slow start to the Canucks season. Always like and subscribe as well. Until next week, this has been Good Take or Deep Reach.